All right, to give you an idea of just how much bigger these tires are, we can go here and I have them about the same height on the top. Then the bottom, you can see I had to jack up the tire a good 3 to 4 inches, which obviously makes sense because this is a 27-inch stock tire. This one's 30.5 inches for the OD. Alright, hey everyone, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. Alright, this is my Bobcat Toolcat. This is a 2016 one, but this really applies to all of them other than like the first year or two. The first year or two they have a different bolt pattern. All the rest of them I know at least from 2008 and newer. It could be even 2006, 2007 and newer, but they have a 6 by 5.5 bolt pattern. And now I believe their offset, I think it's close to 0 offsets, meaning that the wheel face is right in the center of the tire. But from reading online, you can find people put trailer wheels on them, or they put Toyota Tacoma wheels on them. So that's what I have here. There are a couple things to note based off sizes and some other things. So I'll get into that. But basically, I'm going to put 4 of these on, and I'm going to share, if they fit, if they have any issues, that kind of stuff with them. So there's some things that you should pay attention to. One is, this is the stock tire size, which was a 27 by 10.5 by 15. So that means it's a 15-inch wheel, is 10.5 inches wide, and 27 inches tall. You can get a optional 29 by 12, I believe. That's like the turf tire, or you can also get a 29 by 10.5 R4 tire as well. So that obviously is 29 inches tall. So you know that 29 inch fits. This one is actually a 265, 65, 17 inch. This means this one, if you go online, just type that in, like tire size calculator, this will show you this about 30.5 inches. So this is about 1.5 inches taller than the 29 inch setup from Bobcat. But from what I've read, it should fit. That's what we're going to find out here. There's another thing you have to watch out for, and that's the offset. So the wheel offset can also affect. This is a 17 by 7.5, and it's a plus 30 millimeter offset, which means it's about 1 inch further inboard than the center would be. So we'll see if that all fits on this setup here as well. If not, you could potentially add a spacer to space them back further away. The last thing to know is that the lug nuts are different. So I'll show you a comparison, but these I believe have the taper in. You can't quite see it from just looking at the wheel, but then these Toyota Tacoma ones are a mag style, which means it has like this little piece that actually fits inside the wheel, and that's what centers it, and then it has a flat washer on there. So you got to pay attention to what kind of wheel you're getting. If you're getting a trailer wheel, the stock lug nuts might work. If you get another Toyota Tacoma wheel or some other wheel, pay attention to the lug nuts. You might have to get them. These are actually the factory Toyota ones I'm going to reuse. I got them with the wheels and tires I bought. I bought these used, very affordable. It was 450 bucks from a Facebook Marketplace seller that put different Toyota wheels on his Tacoma. And so these have pretty good tread. These are a Falcon Wild Peak AT, and you can go for any kind of tread that you like. Okay, let's get this taken off and put the new ones on and see what they do. Alright, so this is where I was saying the difference between these two lug nuts. Very different, obviously, and you want to make sure you don't use the wrong ones for your application. All right, so I like popping off the center cap because this doesn't seal as well. This type Bobcat one actually still fits inside of here. You can tighten it down. That's going to seal out water and snow better than this one. So I'm going to actually reuse the stock Bobcat little thread in and save these for something else. Now you want to do the star pattern. You also, the other nice thing about taking the hubcap off is these mag ones are harder to get centered because the Bobcat centering hub is too small for this wheel, so you're not going to get the wheel to self-center. It's actually going to use the lug nuts to center, so you got to be a little careful with that to make sure that you're getting that little extra lug nut shaft inside the wheel, so it's all centered up. So once you do the crisscross tightening, I'm going to come back with a torque wrench and actually tighten them all down once they're back on the ground. All right, so now I just did the passenger side, and you can see the difference there. That bucket, you know, my arm is not bent. That's the offset that the bucket now has, with the left side being higher than the right side from this point of view. So if we look around the side of it here, these are those Toyota Tacoma wheels on there. Looks awfully nice if you ask me. We go around here to the side. Again, you can look at the back and you can see that we are, perhaps you can tell in the camera that it's tilted at an angle. You can definitely feel that the passenger side is higher than the driver's side. So let's swap over the driver's side and then we'll make sure everything clears. All right, so I set my torque wrench to 85 foot-pounds, which should be good for these. All right, now, so all your tires are going to have a label that has both a load and a max pressure. And those are actually related. So at your max pressure is where you have your max load capability. These tires is 2756 pounds per corner that they can actually take at 50 psi as their max rated. Now that's really more for high-speed stuff, but we'll use them for here for the Bobcat as well. So that means 2756 times 4. So what's that, like 11,000 pounds is what, you know, the machine could technically be. Machine weighs a little under 6,000 pounds, can pick up a total of 3,000 pounds. So, you know, under 9,000 pounds would be the total weight that you could have on this thing. So it's well under that that rating. Now, granted, you're going to have more front weight when you have a load, 3,000 pounds up front. So, anyways, long story short, these tires can handle the load, but you do want to pump them up to their max pressure. Here I'm in November, and it's like 45, so the pressure is only going to go down. I'm going to pump them all the way up to at least that 50 psi number. All right, there we go. We have all four on. I all set them to 50 psi. You can see I have not moved it, and my bucket is now straight and level like I would want it to be. And now I have not done any driving yet, so let's go do that. Do some full turn lock to lock just to see if everything clears. I think the closest place is going to be kind of the front of the rear wheels, you know, up along the hoses in there. All right, so this is full lock to the right, and so we'll just see here how our clearance is doing. Looks like it's all good there. On the front, I see tons of space. Here on the front of the passenger side, we get a little bit close to the exhaust, but it's still, call that probably 1.5 inches away. And when it articulates, it should go kind of away from it, so should be okay there. Up here, you know, we're a little bit close to that control arm, but again, a good inch of space, so it doesn't look like that's going to be a problem turning to the right. Here's how close we get to the frame. We got a little bit less than 1 inch probably, but that one looks okay. It might have a little bit of a challenge in full jounce. I could see that one getting a little bit tight to that piece of metal there, but I don't think that would damage too much. you might cut into your tire slightly. Okay, so that's good. And now the front driver's side, not seeing any problems here at all. This is good. I maybe need to lower the bucket and just see, you know, how close the bucket gets to it, but I think they'll have plenty of clearance as well. All right, let's turn the other way and see what it does. All right, so here's full turn to the left now. Didn't hear any rubbing, so I don't think I'm gonna have a problem. Front all looks good for sure. Over here, we are all clear. It gets about an inch. It's probably hard to see with the camera from that coolant line that goes back to the main radiator, so you obviously don't want to hit that. That could, but it does move. So if it did hit in like kind of a full jounce, you know, because you do have some suspension travel there, so if it moves, there's a slight chance I would say it could hit that coolant line. I'll monitor that and see if I see any rub marks over time. Then over here, again, you can see we get a little bit close to that same piece of frame there, but I don't think that's going to cause any problems from that side. So that's all good. And then on the front, passenger side, again, we look all good there. There's no problems on the front, and we have plenty of clearance to our bucket, even with it all the way down. So I'm going to call this a success, and we'll see how they perform in the winter time. I heard they're going to ride a lot better. They're definitely a softer tire than those stock Bobcat industrial ones. So I'm going to go take it for a spin real fast and just see how she does. All right, very cool. So I'm actually a vehicle dynamics engineer. So I went out and drove it real fast just to kind of evaluate how it, you know, handled and rode. It definitely rides a lot softer when I hit these kind of, you know, edges of the concrete, going from the gravel, and you have a little step change. It's a much softer. Doesn't upset the ride nearly as much. But I also notice when I turn, so if I'm going full speed, like, you know, 15 miles per hour on the concrete, and I go to make a steering maneuver, these tires are softer. They lean over more. I can feel that. Not that it's going to like flip over or anything instantly, but certainly I noticed a little bit of a bobble if I go do kind of a faster maneuver. I'm getting some roll and movement there, but that's okay for what my need is. If you were to drive on the road in rapid speed a whole lot and do a lot of turning and maneuvering, you might want to do an evaluation of this first before you would go over to that. That's the only downside I see to these. For most of me, I'm driving around the trails out back in the woods. I'm plowing the driveway, moving dirt and stuff around. This is going to be perfect of a change for me, but there is a noticeable difference there in the vertical stiffness of the tires. So something to be aware of. I'm sure if I load it up with a bunch of weight, that those tires are going to compress more, even at their max 50 psi. But I think it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. I got a new little change on my Bobcat here, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments down below, and check out my whole playlist of Bobcat Toolcat videos where I do all kinds of stuff with it around my property. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.